In today's video, we're going to be sharing with you par 4 mistakes that every golfer makes, and that includes us too as well.
Let's take charge of your game.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Impact Show and welcome to Meandmygolf. We're here at the Asprey and yes, we are sharing with you par 4 mistakes that every golfer makes. And this is something, Pierce, that we see a lot of our clients do, but also we've made the mistakes ourselves and we've hopefully learned from them. So let's share them with you. So, first hole, first mistake.
Yes, well actually before we get started, don't forget to get involved. So please post any questions about your game down below and we can hopefully help you. Right, okay, so awareness of hazards. So this is a perfect example here. We're on the first hole at the Asprey. It's 420 yards long. We've got a bunker left and a bunker right. Now a lot of people will rock up to the tee, stand in the middle of the tee, get their driver out and go, oh, there's 2 bunkers there. I know what the yardage is. I just need to hit it between and hope they can hit it between the bunkers. Well, guess what? Let's not hope to miss the bunkers. Let's have a plan to miss the bunkers. So we need to figure out where those bunkers are. So we know that it's 225 yards to the bunker on the left and 250 yards to the bunker on the right. So we've pretty much got 3 options here on what you can do. The first one is to take the bunkers out of play totally. So if we hit the shot 210 yards, we're going to be okay. Fairways are soft, it's not going to run a lot. So a 210 yard shot will finish short of all the bunkers, no problem. It will leave me 210 in, but I'm not going to be in the bunker off the tee. The second shot, which is a little bit more risky, is to actually take the bunker on the right out of play. So we're going to hit it straight at it, 240, 230 yards, and obviously we can't get in that bunker, but if we pull it a little bit, then we could go in that bunker on the left. So it's a little bit riskier, but it's definitely an option and it leaves you a shorter shot in.
There's a little more space that side as well.
There's definitely a little bit more space on that side. And if we think about someone who fades the golf ball and with the wind left to right like this, then it's probably not a bad option. The third option is if you know you can carry it 230 yards, then you can go for that bunker on the left and hit it over it with the driver. So 230 plus carry, and it's downhill, so there's a chance on it it's going to go a little bit further, that you know if you hit that shot, then you're going to be fine because you're going to be going past both the bunkers and you're going to be going no problem into the fairway. Well, but obviously you've got to be able to pull that shot off.
Yeah, so it's key, isn't it? Don't, like say, Pierce, don't just hope to miss the bunkers and pull out the driver because it's a par 4.
Yes.
Think about where the danger is, and this could apply when there's water as well. You know, hazards are obviously bunkers, but water as well. Avoid those as much as possible, and that's going to reduce your score.
Know where they are, and then figure out what your options are.
So you got the driver out. You're going with option 3.
Of course. Now this is only because I know that I can carry it past the bunkers, but again, I'm always going to put that strategy into place. So the wind's off the left, so I'm going to hit it probably a little bit left side of that bunker actually, and then the wind and maybe a little bit of fade will take it onto the fairway. Very nice. Look at the curve on that. Is it going to make the right edge? There's a wind off the left, but that is pretty decent.
The second mistake is aiming down the middle. Now this might seem a little strange because as golfers we think we need to stand on the tee and aim down the middle of the fairway because we need to play correct golf and hit the ball straight, but we know that that isn't the case. We don't hit the golf ball straight. It's very rare that we hit the golf ball straight. And I think most golfers, Pierce, have a tendency. They either hit the golf ball with a little fade and maybe drift to the right or a little more of a draw and sometimes drift more to the left. So you need to figure out which one are you. So if you do that, then you can put that into your plan. So you don't always have to go, well, I need to aim down the middle of the fairway. If you're somebody who leaks it to the right slightly, aim down the left-hand side of the fairway and allow for that little bit of curvature, because if you do that, your margin for error is a little greater and more chance of hitting the fairway. And if you're somebody who hits the golf ball with a little bit of right to left, maybe misses it left every now and again, or right half of the fairway is absolutely fine. And sometimes you might even need to aim in the rough on either left or right. So I think it's a good thing to think about is that you don't always need to aim straight down the middle. Aim to where your tendency is and you are definitely going to increase the chances of hitting the fairway. Are you spiking too early? Now we're talking specifically about short par 4s. Now most golf courses have these short par 4s and they often catch us out, Pierce. We tend to want to be maybe a little too aggressive off the tee, and we always use the volleyball analogy because it really helps understand. Now think about this. When you're playing volleyball, not that I play lots, but you have somebody who sets the ball up for somebody to spike it and attack it and smash it into the court. Well, that's fine because someone's laying that golf ball up for the person who's close to the net to then really attack. Now most people or most golfers are trying to attack from the back of the volleyball court, which means it's very difficult. What they often do is pull out the driver, Pierce, they see that it's a short hole and they go, well, let's just get it as far down as I can, but they really discard any of the hole, the dangers and the risks. So they hit driver and they often end up in trouble and a lot of the time make a poor score on a short hole. Whereas what we actually want to think about is, can we set ourselves up first and then spike? So hitting the right club off the tee to start with, so we can attack on the second shot. So we're on the 10th here at the Asprey, perfect hole, 290 yards, Pierce. Talk us through this and sort of how that applies.
Do you know what? One thing I will say, we've been filming here for 6 years pretty much, maybe 5 years, and we've seen a lot of golfers on this tee and they pull out the driver and they hit it in the cabbage on the right, or they hit it into the bunkers. So let's just go through the specifics on this hole. As Andy said, it's 290 yards. We've got a bunker on the right, which is 180. We've got a bunker on the left, which is 190. Then the second bunker on the right is 225. Then we have 250 on the furthest bunker on the left. So straight away, you're looking at there and go, well, if I were to hit a shot which is less than 180, I'm going to be okay. If I were to hit a shot which is between 200 and 210 at the left, that's going to be a good shot as well. But I think the problem is, as you said, Andy, as soon as the driver goes in hand, as soon as you put an iron in your hand and hit it 180 yards, you're like, I'm wasting my opportunity to make birdie. Well, guess what? You're probably going to have about 110 yards, maybe 115 yards to the flag. That's a good shot for you, because actually you're probably better off with a wedge than you are with a 50 or 60 yard pitch. So here's what we would recommend for a lot of golfers, and I don't think I've seen anyone do it on this tee in the 5 or 6 years we've been doing it. So it's into the wind quite strong, so it's going to help me a little bit, but I'm going to hit it 180 yards at that bunker on the left. Now I know that I can't get it because it's 190, it's into the wind, it's uphill, it's soft conditions. So I know I can hit a 5-iron at that bunker there and it's not going to make it, and I'm going to have 115 yards maybe because I'm on the angle slightly, it left into the flag, and it's going to be an easy wedge.
Yeah, your playing partners might give you a bit of grief saying, why are you pulling out a 5-iron here? But it's an attacking play, but it's sensible here, putting yourself in spot, again, to leave yourself about 110 yards, and look, it's so much easier then playing that sort of shot rather than sort of just blasting the driver and hoping for the best.
All those golfers we've seen hit it with a driver on here, I reckon if they'd have hit a 6-iron, 5-iron, or even a rescue down the left, they'd have been better off. So I'm just going to hit it straight at that bunker, Andy.
Can't believe you're going for the green, Pierce, on this one. I can't believe that.
What a chicken.
Your friends will have a go at you for this, but
yeah, don't show this.
They won't be saying anything when you make birdie. And that's nice. So that's slightly up the right-hand side. But because it's up the right-hand side there, Pierce, it's slightly short of that bunker, which means you've took everything out of play. Again, perfect club selection there, and that's the beauty of this. You've got an attacking shot now for your second shot, and an opportunity for birdie.
Simple. The hero trouble shot. Now we know you've tried to do it before, because guess what? We all tried to do it before. So we've got 200 yards left to this green, and there's a perfect little avenue there, Andy.
I can get there.
Slot a back foot 3-iron underneath the branch, a little bit of draw. You can do it.
I can do it. Look, and this is something that we see so many times. You want to get down as close as you can. You want to avoid making a bogey, but sometimes being a little too greedy and trying to play that hero shot just puts you in more danger and leaves you with a big number on the scorecard, double or even worse. And sometimes we just need to take our medicine, chip out, get it back in play in safety, and just give ourselves an opportunity of hitting the green in 3 and making a chance of a par, and that's the key thing. So avoid playing that hero trouble shot and chip out. But there's another thing. When you chip out, you've got to make sure you're chipping out with the right club, and this is another mistake that we see a lot of golfers make. Let's say I've been sensible and I've decided I want to go safe. A lot of golfers will chip out with too much loft. I've got to avoid these branches here. So this is what we see. They might go with a pitching wedge and a sand wedge, and they hit it. I've managed to avoid it there, but more than likely you're going to hit these branches.
I have no idea how you have done that, by the way.
But you're bringing the risk in there of hitting the branches, knocking down and staying in the rough. So instead of chipping out with one of these, you've got a ball there, Pierce.
Yes, absolutely. Here you go.
Perfect, thank you. So this is the important thing. I obviously want to chip out, and I'm going to give myself a nice light here.
I see that.
I want to chip back in play. The most important thing, I need to avoid these branches. So in here, I'm going to go 6-iron, because for me, I think 6-iron can get me under these, give me enough to carry the rough and get myself back in play. So 6-iron, chip shot, very much like a chip shot, Pierce.
Yes.
Stance is going to be very similar, nice and upright. I'm not really worrying about just blasting it here. I'm looking at controlling the distance as well, which you know is important.
Yeah, I think the thing is here that you've got to make sure you understand where you want that golf ball to finish when it's on the fairway. So if the flag's on the left-hand side of the green, then you can go to the right-hand side of the fairway to give yourself a better shot in. So don't just go in there and chip out. Be mindful of where you want the golf ball to finish.
Definitely, don't just get blasting it out. I want to get this past that bunker, somewhere near the middle of the fairway. Hopefully you can avoid these branches.
Perfect. Back
As
on
you
the
can
fairway.
see there, back in play.
And you didn't chip out with your chipping club, which is massively important.
Exactly. It's so easy to get stuck in the rough, and this is something we see all the time, and contact is key, but it's also important to understand how the rough will influence what the golf ball is doing, Piers. Talk us through this one.
It is, yeah. Well, the first thing we will say is be mindful of the lie. So understand what the lie is going to do to the shot. So we've got 200 yards left pretty much here. You know, a lot of golfers would stand here on a 200-yard club. I need to get a rescue on it or even a 3-wood on it, and they don't really think about the fact that there's a load of grass behind the golf ball, which is going to stop the golf ball coming out. So the amount of times we've seen golfers stand here with a long club and try and hit out, it's like, oh my goodness, it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
And sometimes it even goes 30 yards. Now, they can hit an iron longer than 30 yards, so really got to think about this.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the good thing about it, because when you do hit an iron out the rough, it will go further than normal. Because what happens is when the thick grass gets between the golf ball and the club face, it obviously stops the golf ball impacting on the face as much, so you don't get as much backspin. So basically think of this, you've got a launching golf ball with not a lot of spin. That's a recipe for distance, which is great. So you can hit a 7-iron, for me, goes around about 175, 177. It's going to go around about 190, maybe even 200 yards, because it's going to go launch high and the spin is going to be taken off that. So we call it a fly a lie.
And it's going to roll as well when it lands on the ground, Piers.
Absolutely. So, all right, so that's what you need to understand, what's going to happen when you play the shot, but it's now about understanding how to play the shot as well. So I have got a 7-iron here. I have got just over 190 to the middle of the green, but what we need to look at here is we need to avoid this if we can to the best part. So we need to avoid the grass behind the golf ball. So a couple of things you would do. You can move the golf ball a little bit further back in the stance. You can put a little bit more weight onto that lead foot. You can have a slightly more wristy backswing. So you have a slightly more wristy backswing. That gives you a steeper angle into the back of the golf ball. Now it's inevitable that you're going to hit this grass, but we want to take out a little bit more by putting the ball back, leaning forward and getting a bit steeper.
The great thing about this is, well, because he's hitting down so much, it means he can actually go higher loft because he's de-lofting the club when it comes to impact. So, like I say, you've just got under 200 yards here, has 7-iron. He's really going to give him a good chance to get close with this one.
Yeah, this is normally a 6-iron club for me, so. And that's only because the ground is soft out there. If the ground's firm, this could go over 200 yards with this fly a lie. Lower ball flight than normal. You can see it is just hot, isn't it? Pitching a little bit short, running up there, front edge. Oh, I'll take that. I'll take that.
Chip and putt from there, Piers.
Of course, can. Do you have a strategy for sloping lies? Guess what? We're not in the driving range, so we're on the golf course. We are going to get these sloping lies. It's really important to understand how it affects the ball flight.
It is definitely. We've got a ball above here, but before we do this one, let's talk about the other sloping lies that we see. Let's talk about an uphill lie and what happens when you're on an uphill lie and the thing you need to consider. So when you're on an uphill lie, you need to think about your club selection because the ball is going to launch higher and actually travel less distance. So when you're playing that lie, take more club. Very simple. Take more club on that lie. On a downhill lie, it's the opposite. It's going to launch a lot lower and travel a lot further. On a ball below your feet, the ball is going to want to move and curve to the right if you're a right-handed golfer. So put that into your strategy. Aim a little further left on that ball below your feet. And as we have this ball above feet here, on the first hole, it's going to do the opposite to the ball below. It's going to want to curve to the left again for the right-handed golfer. So when I'm playing this shot, I'm thinking about that and factoring it into my shot here. So I'm going to aim probably, it's not massively above my feet here, but I'm going to aim at the right side of the green because I'm allowing for that little bit of curve on this. Hopefully it starts right and curves back. But make sure you put it into the plan.
Beautiful. Middle of the green.
That was nice, that one, Piers.
That's really good, really good. So there are par 4 mistakes that everybody makes. Which one are you? Comment down below.